Welcome back to Hardforking, everyone. Today we're part 2 with our series with Stefano from Korporatio. We're going to be talking about security tokens. I'm actually going to tokenize the equity in Hardforking. We're going to use this process to learn about where this industry is at, the latest and greatest. And speaking of latest and greatest, I had to stop here because I've never seen a vending machine that sells fish before. Coca-Cola? Yes. Fish? No. But fish, yes. The world is changing. Follow the series. Let's check out what is changing. Hey everyone, welcome back to Hardforking on the 4th of February. We're recording this on the 4th of February. So throughout the series, we hope to educate you on what security tokens are. There's a concern of mine that a repeat of the ICO frenzy could happen where people are kind of misled on what in fact security tokens are. So we're going to take you through a practical journey of me actually tokenizing Hardforking. Stefano is going to talk me through this. You're a company, Korporatio. If you could tell us a bit about that again, to maybe for people that didn't see the first episode.
No, sure. So Korporatio, in super simple, is a company that does company incorporation. We help people to set up businesses in few jurisdictions around the world. Some of those are Seychelles, Panama, San Vicente and Grenadine, Wyoming in US, and Singapore at the moment. And the big particular aspects of what we're doing is that every single company that we incorporate and we generate runs completely on the blockchain. So if you're an expert in blockchain, you can think about that as a legal DAO, maybe.
This is actually that was fast.
I was indeed a very fast dish.
Right.
Thank you. Chishi.
So that's kind of fascinating thing for me as well. Obviously, BSV are increasing the block size of their project. So as I go through a process of looking at what it means to tokenize equity in my company, I think it's a great opportunity to check out what the various blockchains also offer.
Fair enough.
Whether or not they're at a point where you can tokenize everything, which is something they're saying they can move towards with utility. It's kind of the selling point of what they're doing, and increasing this block size or removing the block cap altogether.
Thank you.
We'll obviously learn a bit about Ethereum from you, something I know very little about, coming from a Bitcoin background. And also have a look at what other offerings the various projects, blockchains, distributors, ledger.
Party!
I think the white rat just kicked off. Or there's something wrong with the electrics, we're not sure.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Okay.
We're back.
Right. So, a lot to cover in this series. What is a security token?
A security token is basically a token, therefore like something that runs on the blockchain, which however is defined as a security from a legal stand and point of view, obviously.
Guess we should ask for certain people that what is a security?
So a security is like a financial product that I think that can be considered as an investment that can give you either one of these two things. The first one is a right in an asset or a company, or whatever.
So buying an Amazon stock would be a security, for example?
Yes, correct. As well as buying a house can be a security if you're buying that through a public market. In some cases, if you're thinking about specific financial products that might mimicking painting, for example, or commodities like diamonds or gold and things like that can be considered a security as well.
So we had the big drama with ICOs where everyone was, the likes of Tokenization telling everyone Ethereum was a security and therefore the whole thing would be thrown out the window. That didn't eventuate, but that's something that maybe a lot of people actually at the moment are getting tripped up on. Some of these ICOs are.
It's true, because like
getting a knock on the door going, you sold as security, that's not compliant.
It's
so
true.
Can you maybe explain what?
Yeah, you got like that big difference if you're like considering like the utility of their security. That was like that famous argument between the two. In super simple, like it's to drill that down, is like, are you getting like some sort of like return out of like purchasing the tokens from that specific ICO? So for example, like a dividends. If you're actually getting like something in return from actually like purchasing that, which is not like a stake, but it's like a dividend from like, I don't know, the specific protocols is like making, I don't know, $100,000 in revenue, and it's taking portion of that and distributing that through like the stakeholders. And so the token holders, that's clearly a security because that's clearly a dividend.
Okay.
Vice versa, you get examples like the DAO models, or like where people are like voting to decide like should the company implement like these specific protocols, these specific new features and things like that. That's that might be considered like a voting right.
We're gonna have to cut.
Thank you very much.
That looks good.
That looks delicious indeed.
Shall we show it to the camera?
Thank you.
We'll be back in a moment.
Thank you. Thank you.
You want to hit pause?
Oh, we can just.
Are you actually recording?
Yeah, I am recording.
Very good.
Thank you. Appreciate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, what is that?
Gloves. Gloves, because it's about to get dirty.
Oh man.
Thank you, Shishi. It's about to get very dirty over here.
I've ever put gloves on to.
Like children in school, they have decided to give us like the gloves so we can eat the crab in a proper way. And this is gonna be interesting.
Right.
So
back in 2 and 2.
We're ready.
Chuck Woolery used to do. I've been chatting to Chuck Woolery on Twitter. You're too young to know who Chuck Woolery is.
Might be too young.
The Love Connection.
Oh fuck, it's
dating
hot.
show. Ooh, boy, oh boy.
Super hot.
God damn.
And we're ready. So meanwhile, going back to the point.
Yeah, we can wait.
It's not only about like the dividend per se, but it can also be like about our rights.
Yeah.
So you know when like in a private company,
we're going to take us seriously sitting here.
You should take us seriously, because like that's the difference.
True, he does know what he's talking about. So do.
But he obviously doesn't. Seem
right.
like
Where were we? We're talking security tokens.
So when you are like in a public company, and as well like in a private company, legally you need to have like a board of director meetings.
Yep.
Now in that meetings, normally like things about the future of the companies are being decided. Things like should we issue dividends? Should we acquire a new company or a competitor? Should we increase the cost of our service and product? All of those decisions are actually made like from the board of directors as well as like from the shareholders.
Yep.
So if a token gives you that power, that is actually considered a security.
Okay.
Maybe it's not going to give you a dividend. It's not going to give you a return.
This? I mean, we've just walked down the street today, and obviously we saw a vending machine selling a fish. We went to a fish market, and now we're in a restaurant. In all three scenarios, as we moved along the street, the price went up by a factor of
a lot,
200%. Second in the market from the vending machine to here, a factor of 500%.
Even more, probably.
Even more. So, would it be fair to say that what you're doing with your company and what maybe the whole industry of security tokens is doing is removing friction, removing a middleman, creating efficiencies, and effectively a more cost-effective
I think
offering?
that it's not only what we are doing or what like the security.
I mean, the tokenization of everything that we're hearing a lot about now in crypto.
I think
is
it's
that
in
what
general
this
like
is ultimately
blockchain.
about?
It's the entire blockchain that allows for that to like remove completely middlemen. So you do get like obviously.
But it's a competitive advantage for companies that are jumping onto this to be able to do something cheaper. So in other words, what you're offering with your corporate secretarial services is going to be a lot cheaper than someone that's still messing around with the traditional way of doing it.
That's for sure. Simply because like you get to an environment where like the job that is done like by a human being, in our specific case, is run by code. So at that point you have like two options. You can either like keep the same price and therefore increase your margin as a company, or you can go in the opposite direction and decreasing price for everybody, and therefore like everybody's gonna like get a benefits out of that.
We're eating Singapore's signature dish, by the way, which is a garlic pepper crab.
Which this is not, because it's a butter crab, by the way. Just wanted to point that out.
We're not eating Singapore's signature dish.
No.
But if you're ever in Singapore, the signature dish is garlic pepper crab. Try it out. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Okay. Right, so basically we've established that security token offerings are more cost effective, or tokenizing. Anything is becoming possible now.
Yes. Thank you.
Where are we at in the evolution of this? I mean, obviously I want to tokenize the equity in my company. I want to make the Hardforking media brand, the YouTube content you're watching, maybe the first tokenized scenario where that's ever been done. Tell us a bit more about how I can do that, what I can offer and what I can't.
Fair enough.
Because there's a lot of laws here.
It is obviously like
I want to get this right.
when you're looking at like tokens per se, we've seen like a lot like in the ICO and so on. Tons of like financial advisory and things happening, and people, like writing on social medias and everywhere around the world, purchase these tokens, or like there was also like the scandals where like Facebook, Google, and everybody shut down those type of tokens. Here the story is much different, because a security is already regulated. It's not something new, and a security token is nothing different from like offering an equity crowdfunding or a real estate equity crowdfunding, and you already have like digital products for something like that. So the law follows exactly those models on that. So can you tokenize something? Yes, you can today. Not a problem at all.
So real estate, which is the biggest asset in the world by far, we've been talking with some friends who are tokenizing real estate.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll introduce you to those companies in the coming weeks. That's a fascinating one.
It's true.
Yeah, that's a biggie. So in other words, interest rates climb dramatically on you all of a sudden. Instead of losing your house to the bank, if you're in a position where it's tokenized, you could sell a fraction of that and
indeed
you could keep your house.
Indeed.
So this is extremely disruptive tech that is here. If you stay with us and follow this content, there's definitely going to be something for you here, whether you're a small business owner looking for a more efficient way to launch your company, or you're a large corporation. We'll talk you through the whole process and the various legal ramifications in different jurisdictions. That's where you're the real expert. I hear you're actually presenting to a lot of governments, or been asked to at the moment.
Some of them,
a birdie told me.
It's true, because obviously like there is it's a new subject at the moment, and like a lot of people are trying to like do this right. And one of the misconceptions that I'm seeing is that people think that like governments are the evil and the bad side of the story.
Yeah.
Truth is, It's not true. Governments are in place to like trying to protect normal people. And it's important to understand that like if you're spending like every single hour of your day in a specific sector, obviously your knowledge is a little bit different than like the taxi driver or the retail shop person that never heard about like investments in their life.
Yeah.
So the job of the government is obviously to innovate, to be competitive against all the other governments in the same way that it would be like in any single company or in every single sector around the world. But on the other side, they need to ensure that every citizens of that country is protected.
Yeah.
And it's complicated. But on the other side, it's amazing to see like how governments are actually like,
Did something happen there?
no, it's all fine.
It just went dark.
Yeah, because like 5% left. On the other side is actually becoming like very good to see like how every single big player in the space is trying to like learn and understand and innovate and adapt to like something like that.
Are you seeing anybody taking advantage of the public's lack of understanding around security tokens? Are we going to see obviously, as we know with ICOs and IEOs, there was the wool pulled over a lot of people's eyes. Do you think we'll see another misuse of buzzwords here?
Unfortunately, yes. Because
Yeah.
like
Is
maybe
it happening already?
yes,
It is.
100% yes. And like obviously, like I'm very like deep in the sector, so I'm following and seeing people that are like in the same space. But I can already see like people borderline advising sales of securities or like promoting things without clearly knowing the law around that or like the model around that. And I always have like all the respect for people that are like trying to innovate and whatsoever, but like when your point of that is clearly driven by ignorance and nothing else, and you're actually publicly doing that, people might get hurt about that. And I think that like we have seen a lot of lessons from the ICO thing. So unfortunately, yes.
People have short memories.
That's what scared me a lot about that.
I think we need to cut now because I'm starving and people
Fair
don't
enough.
need to see me eating wearing plastic gloves.
Or maybe they will.
Maybe they will. So yeah, we'll be back with more very soon.